American homeowners spend between $20 and $60 on snake plants every single year. The one plant every garden center promises is impossible to kill. And yet right now, growers in their 50s and 60s across the South, the Midwest, and the Northeast are standing over yellow mushy collapsing leaves, wondering exactly what went wrong. Here is the part that stings. Most of them are about to make it worse. The single most common response is to fertilize. That one mistake on a rotted plant accelerates the collapse. Today, 5 exact causes, 5 exact fixes, and stay for cause 3, the kitchen ingredient that reverses early fungal rot before it reaches the roots. Welcome to PlantERLab, where smart growers discover plant ideas that actually pay off. Today, we are breaking down exactly why your snake plant is turning yellow and mushy, and how to stop it before the entire plant collapses. Later in this video, 1 tablespoon of a common American kitchen ingredient will be the difference between a dead plant and a full recovery. Stay close. Most growers think snake plants are drought-tolerant year-round. That is only half true, and the half they are missing is destroying their plants every winter. In November through February, a snake plant's metabolism slows dramatically. It stops drinking. Soil that dries in 7 days in July now stays wet for 21 days in December. Same pot, same amount of water, completely different biological result. The roots sit in that cold, wet soil and begin to decay from the tips inward. By the time the leaves turn yellow and mushy at the base, the root system is already weeks into collapse. A $40 snake plant is gone, not from neglect, but from seasonal watering that was never adjusted. In USDA zones 6 and 7, where winter light drops below 10 hours, this is the single most common cause of indoor snake plant death. Here is the exact test that confirms root rot before you do anything else. Press the base of the yellowing leaf firmly between 2 fingers. If it feels firm and resistant, the problem is above the soil. If it feels soft, watery, and collapses under light pressure, root rot is confirmed. Now remove the plant from its pot. Healthy snake plant roots are white to pale tan and firm. Rotted roots are brown, gray, or black, slimy to the touch, and they smell faintly sour. Trim every rotted root with clean scissors back to healthy white tissue. Then lay the root zone in open air for 12 full hours before any soil contact. This air drying step is the one most growers skip, and skipping it means the rot restarts within days. Dust the trimmed root ends with 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a documented antifungal that suppresses the exact organisms causing the rot. Repot into a cactus and succulent blend, or create your own by mixing 50% standard potting soil with 50% perlite, available at any American hardware or garden store for under $8. Use a terracotta pot, not glazed ceramic. Terracotta wicks excess moisture through its walls and gives the root zone the air exchange it needs. Do not water for 10 full days after repotting. This is the rule most growers cannot follow, and the one that makes the difference. Day 1, you trim, air dry, and repot. By day 5, the cut root bases are callousing cleanly. By week 2, new pale root tips are forming at the trimmed ends. By week 4, look at the center of the plant. A new tight leaf bud will be visible, pushing upward. That bud is the confirmation your $40 plant survived. The next cause is one most growers never see coming, because the problem hides at the very bottom of the pot, completely out of sight. Snake plants are sold in beautiful glazed ceramic pots at every American home goods store, and that pot is quietly killing them. Glazed ceramic with no drainage holes creates a permanent water reservoir at the base that the grower never sees. You water the top, it looks dry, but 2 inches below the surface, water has been pooling for weeks. The roots rot from the bottom up, the lower leaves go yellow and mushy, and the grower assumes they underwatered. They water more, the plant collapses. Turn your pot over right now. No drainage holes. Transfer immediately to a terracotta pot. After transferring, drench once with a tablespoon of raw apple cider vinegar in a quart of water. The mild acidity disrupts the anaerobic bacteria that colonize oxygen-starved soil. In the South and Gulf Coast, where ambient humidity adds to the moisture load, this single pot switch prevents the most common snake plant loss growers in their 50s and 60s report every single year. The bag most growers buy, the standard all-purpose potting mix sitting on every shelf at every American garden center, retains 3 to 4 times more moisture than a snake plant's root system can tolerate. It was designed for moisture-loving tropicals, not for a plant that evolved in the rocky, fast-draining soils of West Africa. When a snake plant is potted in standard mix, the soil never fully dries. 14 days after watering, it still feels moist. The roots sit in that permanent dampness, and rot begins within weeks of purchase. The diagnosis is simple. Press your finger 2 inches into the soil 14 days after your last watering. If it still feels cool and moist, your soil is holding far more water than your snake plant needs. Lift the pot. If it feels heavy, despite no recent watering, that weight is trapped moisture. A $5 bag of wrong soil destroys a $35 snake plant within 3 months. That is the calculation most garden centers will never show you. The fix is straightforward, and it costs less than $10. Buy a bag of cactus and succulent potting mix. Or if you already have standard potting soil, buy a bag of perlite and blend them 50/50ths by volume. Perlite is the white volcanic mineral that creates air pockets in the soil and forces water to drain rather than pool. 1 tablespoon of dried used coffee grounds mixed into the top inch of this blend at planting time improves micro-drainage and reduces compaction, a method documented by horticultural extension studies for container soil improvement. Repot your snake plant into this mix. In a terracotta pot, water once lightly, and then wait 14 days before watering again. By day 7, the soil will be fully dry, a completely different behavior than what you saw before. By week 3, you will see firm, upright new growth from the center. The rule that matters: the best soil for a snake plant is the one that dries fastest, not the one that feeds longest. Remember that, and you never lose another one to soil rot. You now have the 3 most common causes of yellow mushy snake plant leaves diagnosed with exact fixes. But the next 2, cold damage and fungal disease, are the ones that fool even experienced growers, because they look almost identical to root rot on the surface. And here is where it gets important. Earlier in this video, the kitchen ingredient tease was real. Coming up in the next 2 causes, a tablespoon of something sitting in your kitchen right now will be the exact treatment that stops fungal spread before it reaches clean tissue. That payoff is 2 blocks away. Right now, if you are watching and not yet subscribed, here is what that actually means. YouTube will stop placing this content in your feed. Not slow it down, stop. PlantERLab releases plant knowledge every single week, built specifically for smart growers who want real results. Hit subscribe. Now, it is free, and it always will be. Drop your state in the comments, your USDA zone changes. Which of these causes applies most to your plant right now? Here is the cause that fools growers every winter in the northern United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. And it has nothing to do with water. Snake plants collapse below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. A cold windowsill in January, an unheated hallway near an exterior door, a garage during a cold snap. Any of these triggers rapid cellular damage in the leaf tissue. The leaves turn yellow, feel cold and soft to the touch simultaneously, and the damage pattern starts on the outermost leaves facing the cold source. There is no root rot smell. That is the key diagnostic difference from cause 1. Move the plant immediately to a location above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Remove every damaged leaf fully, cutting just above the soil line. Do not water until the plant has stabilized for at least 7 days in its new warm location. Brew a single chamomile tea bag, cool it fully, and drench the soil once. Chamomile's natural antifungal compounds prevent secondary infection in cold-stressed tissue. By week 3, a firm new bud will emerge from the center. In USDA zones 5 and 6, this cause claims $40 snake plants every single winter. This is the cause that can move through an entire snake plant collection in under 2 weeks, and it looks almost identical to root rot until you know the one detail that separates them. Fusarium fungus enters through contaminated old soil or through scissors and tools that were never sterilized between plants. It creates a soft rot at the leaf base, but unlike root rot, the color is orange, yellow rather than plain yellow, and it carries a faintly sweet, almost fermented smell that root rot does not produce. Most critically, it spreads. Even with perfect watering and correct soil, a plant with Fusarium will show new leaves affected every 3 to 4 days. If you are correcting your watering and soil and the rot keeps appearing on previously healthy leaves, that is not overwatering. That is fungal spread. Isolate the plant immediately. Remove it from any shelf or surface shared with other plants. Do not touch other plants with the same hands until you have washed thoroughly. The spread window is short, and what you do in the next 24 hours determines whether you save the plant or lose the collection. Here is the payoff, the intro promised, and it is sitting in your medicine cabinet right now. Remove every infected leaf by cutting down to healthy, firm, clean-smelling tissue. Sterilize your scissors with rubbing alcohol between every single cut. One unsterilized cut recontaminates clean tissue instantly. Repot into completely fresh, sterile cactus mix. Never reuse soil that housed an infected plant. Then mix 1 tablespoon of standard 3% hydrogen peroxide, available at any American drugstore for under $2, into 1 quart of water and drench the fresh soil completely. The oxygen released on contact with organic matter destroys the anaerobic Fusarium organisms at the root zone level. This is documented plant pathology, not a home remedy. Day 1, you isolate, remove, and drench. By day 5, the spread has stopped. By week 3, clean new growth emerges from the center. A $200 snake plant collection saved by a $2 bottle and a clear diagnosis. That is the difference between knowing and guessing. Here's the fact that reframes everything you just watched. Every single one of these 5 causes is fully preventable, not manageable, preventable. Snake plants do not fail. The conditions we place them in fail them. That distinction is the one most plant content never hands you directly. The honest limitation in USDA zones 4 and 5, snake plants kept near exterior walls in winter will almost always show cold damage regardless of indoor placement care. The wall itself conducts cold distance from exterior walls is the fix, not temperature settings. Now this channel exists for growers who have spent enough seasons making expensive mistakes. If you are in your 50s or 60s and you have replaced too many plants that had no real reason to die, subscribe right now. Every week, new content zone, aware, dollar grounded, built for your actual life. The next block delivers 3 overlooked facts that most snake plant guides never include, and one of them changes how you water for the rest of the year. We are not ending here. 3 facts most snake plant guides omit entirely. First, snake plants communicate overwatering from the bottom up and underwatering from the top down. Yellow, mushy base leaves mean too much water. Wrinkled or curling leaf tips mean too little. That directional reading alone saves growers from the most common misdiagnosis. Second, repotting a snake plant in summer, not spring, gives the strongest recovery outcomes. Summer warmth accelerates root regeneration by 40% compared to spring repotting in zones 5 through 7. Most guides say spring. Summer is the better answer for this specific species. Third, the variety called Laurenti, the gold-edged snake plant, sold at every American garden center, is 30% more sensitive to root rot than the plain green honey variety. If you own a Laurenti and have lost it before, you were not doing it wrong. You were working with a more vulnerable cultivar than anyone warned you about. That one detail rewards every careful listener who stayed this far. If you have never kept a snake plant before, or you have lost one and are starting again, start with the plain green honey compact variety in a terracotta pot with cactus mixed soil. Water only when the top 2 inches of soil are completely dry. In winter, that means once every 3 to 4 weeks in most American homes. Place it in indirect bright light away from exterior walls and cold windows. That setup removes 4 of the 5 causes in this video entirely before they can begin. If you have been growing snake plants for years and want to push into more sensitive varieties, the Laurenti and the Moonshine are worth it, but they demand faster, draining soil and even more disciplined winter watering. Add 60% perlite to your mix rather than 50%, and check roots annually in late summer. The most important investment you can make in a snake plant is not the plant. It is the pot and the soil you put it in. Get those 2 right, and the plant does the rest entirely on its own. The snake plant did not fail you. It was simply never given the conditions it was quietly asking for. Now you know exactly what those conditions are. If this video gave you one clear answer you did not have before, hit like right now. It takes 1 second and it helps this content reach the grower who needs it next. Drop your state and your USDA zone in the comments. Tell us which of these 5 causes matched. Someone reading your comment tomorrow will recognize their own situation in your words. Think of one person in your life still losing plants to mistakes. Nobody warned them about. Send them this video right now. You just received zone, accurate, dollar-grounded, research-based plant information that most channels never put in one place. That is what every PlantERLab video delivers. Subscribe now and turn on the bell. The next one is already coming.